Hi there, it's Kaizen and I cannot and will not have any of your children. Today we'll talk about each Master Shanghai team that made it into playoffs. We're going to focus on their chances at lifting the trophy, how they might go about it, and what it would mean to do so. First, we have 100 Thieves. I'm going to give them a pretty high chance at grabbing this title. They look solid towards the end of Split 1, as well as the fact that Busio's trash talking like crazy again and painting a lot of targets on his back. Last time he did so, he ended up winning the grand prize. He likes the pressure, and we know that's one of the key factors in making diamonds. This team already saved Nadeshot's marriage, and a win will save 100 Thieves' Valorant legacy. If you're a fan of this org, then you've been waiting a long time for this. We know EU and Bang will do their job in setting up the team and getting those trades, as well as the fact that Busio has been a fragger last year and during kickoffs too. But for them to make it though, it's going to depend on Cryo and Asuna keeping up their impressive form. I know I chose Busio in this video, but that was mainly because of storylines, and we're not getting any of these matchups yet. I think their initial face-off against Fut will not be easy, but they should beat them nonetheless in my opinion. This 100 Thieves team has a high chance at lifting the trophy, so I would not be surprised if they do so. For Fnatic, winning it all may help erase their kind of rough start, where they got surprised by both Karmine Corp and Heretics in their initial meetups, or in reality got a much needed wake-up call to kick things into high gear. Regardless, claiming another trophy would be insane for this group. It will help increase their standings as the most decorated org in VCT, and be pretty damn close to being Valorant's first dynasty. I mean, come on now guys, if we include Master Shanghai, that's only 5 events after partnership systems became a thing in Valorant. That means claiming this bad boy right here will result in Fnatic having 3 out of 5 trophies since then, plus finishing top 4 in Champs 2023. That's just a crazy run. The question though is, how would they go about doing this? Well, of course, from top to bottom, these guys are cracked. Boaster's IGLing is still solid. Alpha was in consideration as one of the best players in VCT with another teammate. You can still depend on Durka to get those first bloods, and Chronicle helped Gambit and Fnatic big time in the past as well. But they had all this during kickoffs and early of Split 1, where they still lost to top teams in EMEA. The big difference maker was the elevation of a certain Swedish initiator. Yep, I'm still all in for playoff Leo. Plus Mini is here too. Depending on what version of Fnatic we get, their Gen.G matchup could be extremely close or a blowout. Them lifting this trophy is very doable in my opinion though. And just as a heads up, I've liked KDAW since Masters Tokyo, so my ranking might be a bit biased here. It was amazing to see their Cinderella run during that event. Then where Champs was a bit mixed since they finished with the same results, and Masters Madrid was a roller coaster where they beat a Jingless Paper X but then kind of got humiliated in their last 4 maps that they played. A Grand Finals win in their stomping grounds of Master Shanghai would change that though, as well as show the world that Chinese Valorant is here and the timetable of dominance might follow that of League's timetable too. Doing this will not be easy though. We know that Kong Kong is going to bring the fire, as well as the fact that Smoggy, Chichu, Haodong, and Nobody have had a number of highlights and maps where they help EDG win big games. However, firepower is not an issue for this team. Their play calling will need to be top notch against a few of these teams who can play quite cerebral. Even though Heretics has shooters too, Ever Gaming should still beat them, mainly because they have extra prep time to cook up strats that we may have not seen yet. I still think them making it to the finals and grand finals to win it all is doable. If Paper X were able to win this event with Jing's return, I think it might actually shut down many websites dedicated to Valorant news. This would be an achievement that will never be forgotten. If people are still making videos on Optic's Valorant roster in the year 2024, then I fully expect people to still talk about this Paper X team till 2030, if they finally get this chip. The question is how? Well, skipping the Swiss stage was already huge for Paper X, since they're known for their unique comps and suffocating set plays, so teams will have less time to prepare for that. But really, I think it's just good vibes, man. I already mentioned how each member on this team is amazing and can carry in one way or another. Of course, you want to see Something and Jing at the top of the scoreline, but good vibes will do the trick. When they're smiling and laughing, then you know the enemy team is in trouble. But when they're not, they look beatable. Regardless, I would not be surprised if they lift this thing, and they should beat G2 to deny Valid and crew their revenge game in the process. Now for Team Heretics. Again, I'm a big fan of them for the same reasons I'm a big fan of Karmine Corp, who I really wanted to see at this event too. Both orgs just have a similar trajectory right now. However, if Heretics win, then you gotta say it's a new era for EMEA and Valorant. This team is filled with individuals who all joined Tier 1 after partnerships became a thing. It will also help eliminate that 1/0 team narrative hanging over this region, which I don't think is very fair. I kind of explained why in this video. And lifting a trophy will also be great for Gen.G Fishy's career as a competitor. Getting wins in both Fortnite and now Valorant, what would be next? League? Regardless, Heretics may have found a new star duelist on this team in Woot, who could prove to be the difference maker. A part of me wants to put them in doable, but they did lose to G2 pretty handily. Woot didn't look too hot in this matchup, and you need your star duelist doing better than this in my opinion. Maybe G2 is really good at just shutting down teams that rely too much on one player doing all the heavy lifting. I mean, they did it to Leviatan, who depends on Aspas a lot. Or maybe Heretics is just going to struggle against teams who rely on mid-rounding to win games. Either way, they're going against Edward Gaming that might have some strats we haven't seen yet. Would I be surprised if they beat EDG? A little bit, but at the same time, I wouldn't call it a huge upset either. Even if they do, this team will still need to beat other orgs who have more chemistry, better tactics, and firepower from top to bottom. If Miniboo was here and they did double duelists on some maps, then I would be a believer, but they just seem too handicapped right now. Them winning Master Shanghai will be a Cinderella story for me. Gen.G winning Master Shanghai would be huge for the APAC region, as well as a redemption for both Masters Madrid and Reykjavik, their first international event where both Solo and Lakia failed to beat Sentinels when they were on new term. Gen.G has a good chance at winning this event, and I would not be surprised either. There's a reason why everyone avoided this team when the upper seeds started to pick their matchups. When you're looking for a title contender, they have all the boxes checked, including an IGL vibe guy in Munchkin, veteran presence with Lakia, and crazy firepower in Texture, Meteor, and Charon. They can play a very solid systematic Valorant too. However, if a team wants to get muddy and brawl, they can do that as well. Basically, Gen.G would want their heavy hitters to continue doing well with the likes of Munchkin and Lakia not feeding, which they rarely do anymore, but happens from time to time. Their first matchup is a Fnatic, and it's a toss-up in my opinion, and could go either way. It might be a blowout, or might not depending on what version of Fnatic we get. Regardless, I can see Gen.G going toe-to-toe with other top teams at this event. G2 winning would be huge as well, seeing how their spot isn't guaranteed after 2026 and they could see themselves back in tier 2 despite having players who have done great things in past tier 1 events. Just depends on what Riot does in that department. So making a splash now would be huge. The clock is ticking. Plus, they have a chance to get revenge on Paper X after their Masters Reykjavik exit in 2022. It will require a team effort as well as excellent mid-rounding and planning. The main reason for this is that this team lacks an individual with star firepower in my opinion. When compared to other duelists at this event, Icy isn't the best of the best when it comes to Raze, but he isn't the worst of the worst either. These stats don't include other Razes or top players since the first seeds haven't played yet. He does his job well nonetheless, but don't expect him to carry this team on the majority of maps. Leaf has been G2 sharpshooter, but it will still require a collective effort from everyone. They remind me a bit of Loud this year, where the tactics side of this game really helped them punch up their weight class. Which is why I said Valen was the X factor for me in this video. But imagine Masters Madrid Loud without less, and I think that's the realistic potential of G2. Unless someone on this team hits a crazy Zenkai boost during playoffs. It will require a Cinderella type of story from them to lift a trophy in their current state, especially since their first matchup is Paper X, a team where a lot of IGLs find it hard to play against. Lastly, we have Fut Esports. Winning would solidify something that many already know. Turkish players are cracked at this game. Plus, it would end the whole zero team narrative. Yes, they lost to FPX, but I kinda expected that to happen. I kinda talk about why on the Exit Frag podcast. FPX was a pretty solid team, in my opinion. Place them in any other region and I can see them shake things up. They could have beaten Gen.G too if it wasn't for that Yoru Ascent comp. Regardless, if 100 Thieves come out swinging and in form, then it would be a tough match for Fut. However, everyone on this team, including CNED, can shoot against the very best of the best in the world. I remember in Champs, Fut gave EG a slight scare. Of course, Fut has upgraded since then and 100 Thieves aren't evil geniuses. I still think Fut claiming this trophy is doable. Let me know how you guys will rank these teams and if you disagree or agree with anything I said. Till next time, stay safe and I'll be yapping in the next one.